sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I'd be careful where I was sticking my nose if I were you.
You tell your spice runners Tatooine's closed for business. This planet's seen enough violence.
You should have never given up your armor.
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series 2-pack featuring Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane from the Book of Boba Fett. Now, this is an exclusive 2-pack, and as it comes in this very large box. It's very nice. You have Star Wars The Black Series here, you have Cobb Vanth, you have Cad Bane, you have Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett here, Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane. Warning! 4+ Hasbro plastic-free packaging, which makes my heart pound even to this day, because with the plastic-free packaging, you don't really know if the figures are in there. But anyway, coming to this side of the box, you have a nice picture of Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane. On the other side of the box, you have the figures themselves with their accessories and some more plastic-free packaging notices. On the bottom of the box, you have some credits and a barcode. And finally, on the back of the box, you have the figures and some nice product shots, and you have a nice read-up. So let us zoom in here, and we will see what they have to say. You can pause the video, read this to your heart's content, but we must be moving on. Again, you have Cobb Vanth, Cad Bane, and some credits for the box. Now, that is it for the box, and I don't want to see these awesome exclusives in the box. I know you don't, so let's get them out and see what they can do. And here we are with the figures out of the box, and I am so relieved that they are in the box. Now, you can consider this a public service announcement that when you do get closed box toys like this, it may be a good idea to check before you leave the store, maybe out in your car, to make sure the figures are in there. I did do this with these figures, and I did it with the Studio Series Sludge that I got, just to make sure there was no funny business going on, because there's a lot of pranksters out there who like to switch out figures. Anyway, since we have two figures here, we'll look at them one at a time, and we will start with the Marshal. And coming real close in on the Marshal, he stands just over 6 inches tall, and he is a very good likeness of Timothy Oliphant, the actor who played Marshal Cobb Vanth, and it is a very nice looking figure. Now, if we zoom out just a little bit, we will see the original Cobb Vanth figure that came from the Mandalorian line, and you can see there is a lot of differences. I think the new Cobb Vanth has better eyes than the original, and the mold and sculpt is slightly different, although they do have a lot of the same things, because hey, it's the same guy. So taking a quick look, the face pretty much the same. Again, I think they did redo the new one here because the eyes look a little sharper. And coming to the profile, you still got the beard. There is a little less gray in this beard. As you can see on the old one, there's a lot of highlights of gray in there. Coming around to the back, again, hairstyle is pretty much the same. And that is pretty much the head sculpt coming down to the body. The red bandana is still present on both of them. The one on the new figure is more predominant because you don't have the armor that this one could have been tucked into, but actually this is just a smaller sculpt over here. And you still have the shirt, which is the same underneath the sculpted armor here. You got the little divots in the shirt. That is really nice. The belts, you do have the two belts he's wearing. They are slightly different. The first belt here is a different mold than this belt, but the holster belt with what I would say the peppermint belt buckle, that is the same, and it is just one piece, and it does go around the waist, and it can move. There is no longer any gauntlets on the wrist here. He does have his brown gloves still attached there. That is nice. Coming down to the legs, they are pretty much the same. Only difference is you no longer have the knee pad over here on the original figure. The boots are the same, except the color on the new one's darker, and you do get a little bit of sand wash on the toe, and that is really nice. I love these two figures. I love Timothy Oliphant, and any chance I can get to get a new figure of him, I will, so that is neat. Nothing else on the sides or the back that you wouldn't be expecting. There is a little bit of paint app difference when it comes to the ammo holders on his thigh. These are a little bit more painted. These are just the solid brown, so I think that is neat. But you still got the white here on this side. Bottom of the foot, there is some copyright information and some peg holes if you want to stand him. But for the most part, yeah, that is the comparison between the new and the old figure. All right, moving on. And for articulation, now that that bulky armor is gone, you're not going to have to be fighting over shoulder pads or anything, but we will start at the head, and the head can go around 360 degrees, and it can look down, and it can look up, and it can look to your left and right. There is a lot of good wiggly-waggly in that head. I really like it. The bandana is a single piece, and it can move around his neck 360 degrees. And if you want a different look, you can check that out. So that is pretty nice. But for the most part, it's supposed to look like this and cover way down on his chest. All right, coming to his shoulders. Shoulders can come up from the body, and they can go around 360 degrees. No bicep swivel. But he does have a nice elbow bend, which gives him more than 90 degrees, and that is built into a forearm rotation, 360 degrees there. Coming down to a hand rotation, 360 degrees, and this hand is hinged in and out, so that is pretty cool. Coming down to the waist, he does have 360 degrees of waist articulation, and it is built almost like an old G.I. Joe, to where it's like it feels like it's on an O-ring, so you can actually get a little bit of ab forward and backwards on it. But I don't know really how it's doing that or what's really underneath there, and I don't feel like taking them apart. But anyway, that is pretty cool. Coming down, he does have a belt that does go around 360 degrees. Like I said earlier, it is a single piece, and you can twist it around how you want it to go. That depends on you, so that is neat. Coming down to his legs can kick up a little ways, not too bad. Can't go back because the butt gets in the way. Out to the side a little bit. He does have thigh rotation, 360 degrees all the way around. That will bring you down to a nice knee bend, and yeah, just about 90 degrees there, and that is built into a boot cut, which will go around 360 degrees, and that will take you down to his foot articulation, and the foot is hinged. It can go up, it can go down, and it can go all the way around the world, 360 degrees. So yeah, a lot of good motion in that foot. So that is going to be your articulation for Marshall Vanth. All right, moving on. And for the Marshall's accessories, he comes with a single firearm. Now, this is the exact same mold of the firearm he came with in the original figure, except the original one was all molded in black plastic here. This one does have a little bit of paint on it. It's gunmetal gray with a little bit of brown for the handle. And this is a really nice little weapon, and he can hold this, and he can shoot at Cad Bane or whoever he wants to shoot at, and it holsters really nice, so that is good. Not much for the Marshall, but then again, he didn't really need much. All right, moving on. And for comparison, here you have the Marshall with the Mandalorian, Grogu, and Grief Karga. Now, I know he appeared in the Book of Boba Fett, but unfortunately, I don't have any Boba Fett figures, so this will have to do. And I think he looks great with these guys. Alright, that's your comparisons. Moving on. And that's going to be the Marshall Cobb Vanth. But he is not the only one in this set, because from the desert comes a stranger. Dun 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 dun. And now it's time to take a look at the malevolent Cad Bane. And here we have Cad Bane in his full stature, and this is an interesting looking figure, and altogether he stands approximately 6 inches tall, about 6 1/4 if you leave him with his hat on. And yes, the hat is removable, so let's zoom in real close to Cad Bane, getting a good look at that grotesque looking face. That is really nice right there. So taking a look, first off, let's take the hat off so we can get a closer look at it. It is very nicely done. It's a nice wide brown hat. You do have a lot of nice silver details molded into the side of the hat right up here. That is really cool. Not anything in the way of lettering or anything like that, but it's still nice. Got a little band right there, so that is cool. And with the bottom, you see where it fits onto his head, so that is neat. Coming back to Cad Bane without the hat, you can see he has a very nice blue face with some evil red eyes sticking out there. Not much of a nose, and a indented mouth there with some teeth pointing out, so that is nice. He does have these little tubes coming out from the bottom of his jowls. I don't know much about Cad Bane. I don't know if that's something that helps him breathe or anything, but it does seem likely. Alright, coming to the back of his head is black, and you do get a little bit of silver on one side and complete black on the other. The tubes come down to this little box on his back with a little antenna on it, so maybe again that's some sort of breathing apparatus. So coming back to the front of the figure again, we will zoom out just a bit so we can see a better view of him. Let's go all the way back. So he is wearing this nice brown duster. It is made of soft plastic, so it is very movable, and it's just a single piece that is made to fit over his arms, because his arms are actually molded with jacket parts on them. Those are not fully arms, and if you take this off, he will have those still. And he has a little bit of silver accents at the top of the jacket here. That is really nice. Coming around, we do see some molded detail like pockets right here. Coming to the back, nice wrinkle looking design on the back, and a little connector there. And you do have another pocket here, so that is cool. On the inside, it's just all rubbery, nothing really to write home about there. And coming from the outside, before we go inside, he does come down to some nice blue gauntlets, and those are nice. I believe these are flamethrowers, because you have this tube here, and that goes from one side to the other, and you got a neat looking control panel here. See if we can zoom in. Yeah, that looks really nice. Got some white buttons and some red buttons and some yellow buttons and some silver buttons, and that comes down to his fist. And he has a little glove here with some nice fingers to hold his pistols with, which we'll get to later. But going back to this gauntlet, this is a flamethrower gauntlet, and with that being the case, he does come with this awesome flamethrower effect. It's really large. It's got a nice red to it, which comes down to an orange and then a yellow, and it does have a little hook right here at the end, and that will just slide right into the space right there, and now you have some flamethrower effect. So that is awesome. You get one effect, however, both of his arms have the slot, so whichever arm you choose, he can be shooting the flame effect. That is really cool. You could actually probably buy another one and have 2 of these, and therefore have 2 arms shooting. So, but I only got 1, so that's all we're going to do. So that is neat. I love those gauntlets. All right. Coming back to the center of the body, you have him. He is dressed in this nice brown shirt type dealy. You do get a little bit of what looks like rank insignias or something, badges up here at the top, and then a little bit of design here Almost looks like the Empire symbol, but I don't think so. I think it's just some sort of button. Nice collar on both sides of the neck up here. That will come down to his gun belt, and you can see some shells here, and then it straps through his leg. He has 2 holsters, and that is really nice. And coming down, the weapons do fit nicely in the holsters. And speaking of the weapons, we can take one of these weapons out, and coming real close in on this gun, it is very nicely done. You have some gunmetal gray and you have some brown for the handle, but it is broken up with a little bit of silver right in the middle. It has a nice little scope on there and a trigger, and this is an awesome looking pistol. And he has 2 of these, and he could double wield if he's so inclined. And he could just hold them in his holsters also if he was so inclined. But when you bring them out and you look into the barrel, you'll see that there is a hole right there, and that is for this smaller shooting effect. And it is basically the same as the flamethrower effect. You have red coming down to some orange, and then yellow, which is a really nice flame effect. And basically what you'll do with this is you'll stick it into the barrel of the gun, and one of them doesn't fit really well because it's too long, I think, but for the most part, you can use it. The second flame effect has a little stumpier end, and that fits into the gun a lot better. So, you know, they both work, and if you mess around with them, you can get them to shoot the effects with both, but I think one really fits better than the other, and that is the shorter one. And getting back to his holster belt, there is a large silver buckle here, and the holsters are actually glued to the leg, so they're not really going anywhere. You can't really take those off, and even on the back you can see they kind of branch off to the sides where the holsters are, and since they're glued there. They did put in a little bit of a fake strap right here, right above the knee, which is really nice to kind of pretend that that is like what's holding the holsters to the leg, so that is cool. Coming down further, you do have some ammo around the top of the boots, which are really nice, and there are your boots. On the bottom you got some trademark information and some peg holes. Coming around to the back of the figure, lifting up the little coat, you don't really have anything you wouldn't expect. You have some dark brown for the shirt, and then the pants are a lighter brown coming down to the boots. So yeah, looks really neat and very creepy. Alright, moving on. And for our articulation, we'll basically leave the hat off because it will fall off anyway. The head can move left and right. It can't really go 360 degrees around because it is connected to the back of the coat via this little machine, so don't do that or you'll rip the hoses, and that's never good. But you do get a little wiggly waggly in the head that can kind of look down a little bit and up a little bit, left and right, and there is a neck joint right in there, so that is cool. So you have 2 points of articulation right there at the head. So coming down to the shoulders can move up from the body. They are hinged, and then back down. They go around 360 degrees. There is no bicep swivel. You do have a nice elbow bend right here. Not exactly 90 degrees because of the gauntlet, I think. But anyway, that's all right. Coming back down, you do have 360 degrees forearm rotation. And that will bring you down to the hand, 360 degrees around, and it is hinged. So it can go in and out, up and down if you want. Coming back to the middle of the body, you do have kind of an ab crunch. It goes forward a little bit and back. Again, it's on what I would say would seem like an old O-ring kind of gimmick, and it can do some wiggly waggly. You do get 360 degrees of articulation in the waist, and that will bring you down to the legs. Now the legs are kind of hindered a little bit because of the holster belt, but you can kind of get them up a little bit. But you see, you are squishing the belt there, and they will go back just a little bit, and you're getting hindered by the coat. So you can kind of move the coat out a little bit and get your leg just back a hair, not too much because your butt's going to get in the way, out to the side a little bit. Thigh rotation, you do get a click or two left and right. Can't go all the way around because, again, it is attached to this holster belt, so that's not going to be able to go anywhere. Knee bend, it is below the holster, so that will give you a good past 90 degrees there, and that is connected into what is considered like a boot cut all the way around 360 degrees, even though it's like a knee cut, I guess. Coming down, there is an independent articulation right here where the ammo is, and that is again a separate joint to go 360 degrees around. The foot, you do have a good range with the foot. It does hinge down, it hinges up, and it goes all the way around 360 degrees, so good motion for the foot. So that is really cool for his articulation. There is a lot of good articulation. Unfortunately, it's hindered due to his outfit. All right, moving on. And for comparison, here you have Cad Bane with the Mandalorian, Cobb Vanth with his Boba Fett armor, taking Cad Bane's advice, and Moff Gideon. So, again, I don't have any figures to go along with Cad Bane here, but I think these guys look really, really good together. All right, that is your comparisons. Moving on. And this has been the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane 2-pack featured in the Book of Boba Fett. And this is an awesome little 2-pack, I must say. I love both of these figures, starting with the Cobb Vanth figure. As I said before, I will always be in the market for a new Timothy Oliphant figure. I like this figure even though it's pretty much the same as the last one we got without the Boba Fett armor, but this is what he looked like in the series, so I'm very happy with it. I think they did a better job on this head sculpt than the original. Moving over to Cad Bane, he is a very creepy looking fellow. Again, I don't have a lot of experience with the character other than the 2 episodes I saw him in the Book of Boba Fett, and he was pretty cool. I always liked the gunslinger motif. Westerns are one of my favorite genres of movies, so I don't think you could go wrong with this guy. The outfit's really nice. The long trench coat, the double gun belts, the double pistols, the blast effects. Yeah, I think this was the jewel of the set because Cobb Vanth was a little plain comparatively. The bad thing about the Cad Bane figure is that the articulation is hindered so much by his clothes that you're going to be missing out a little bit on that. But, yeah, for the most part, he stands there and he points his guns and he shoots. And that's pretty much what you're going to be looking for Cad Bane, I guess. I did do his review a little differently, and that's something I'm looking at, maybe changing things up a little bit if it works out and save some time or not. I'm not sure how it will go over. I'll figure that out in editing, but anyway, guys, that is these two. If you are looking for this box set, again, it is a Target exclusive, and if you find it on the shelves, it's going to cost you about $55. So if you're looking for this, happy hunting. All right, guys, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And a very special notice before I head out that on July 18th, be sure to check out FX for the return of Timothy Oliphant as Raylan Givens in the new Justified City Primeval series. I think it's going to be great, and I can't wait. All right, guys, have a great night, and until next time, keep playing.